Hi guys, it's Nir again, and today I'm gonna do the section in Broadway that I was referring to on my other videos. So at the moment I'm in Broadway 2, and basically the section I'm gonna work on is, hold on, let me just fly to it, is this bit here where basically we have that wall that I was making before, and there's a hole here, another hole here, and what's going to happen is when the player comes up to here, he's going to have to drop down to here, drop down onto there, and potentially even go right down to there where it's been flooded with water. So I'm just going to try and get a little bit of this done. I probably won't get it all done because it's going to take a while. So as you can see, my grid is pretty cluttered at the moment because I've not got anything on Viz groups bar on the boundaries, the normal room now boundaries, the objectives basically. So one of the things, there's a tool, the cordon tool, where you can, what this does is anything within its boundary, it's basically a box, anything within its boundary will compile and seal. It's really good for testing for errors, and because it seals you don't get any leaks as well. It's also very handy from a mapping point of view, because what I tend to do is, because I'm working on just this section, I'll set the cordon for just here, and it really does clear up all the viewports so you can see better. Sorry. So what you need to do is, my area is here in this box here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just basically put this roughly for now into that area, and you do that by, you select this, you draw your box like you would do normally, and then once you click the next button along, that activates it like so. And if I were to compile the map now, it would compile that area around that red box there, and it seals it, everything. The only thing you need to do if you do that is make sure you've got lights in the area, and make sure there's a spawn point, because otherwise what it'll do, if there's no spawn, it'll try and put you at the centre of the map. So in my case, the centre of the map is where this blue line matches up here. So you'll get like, when your map spawns, it'll say that it can't find a valid spawn, and you'll have to basically cheat your way out of it using no clip. So when you're using this, in my case, what I'm going to do is just get this box to the point where I can see enough of what I need to see. So like, I don't need to see any of that bottom bit. Anything that helps to declog this view up is a massive help in my eyes. So because I've done that, I've gone from that to that. So with that, if I was trying to work in that now, it'd just take so much longer to do. Whereas because I'm doing it in this view, I can see more. Excuse me. The other thing I'm going to do, because I've actually built the bottom bit, this bottom bit here, and it's kind of clogging up this top view a tiny little bit, I could just Viz group it out, but it's easier just to slightly just pull that out there. So that's a lot clearer as it stands at the moment. I have actually made a little bit here already, but anyway, I'm going to get cracking on anyway. So I'm going to just move this trigger. That's the trigger that basically, once the player drops through it, it triggers that the objective is complete. That was solely in a thing, what do you call it, a temporary measure. So like you can see, I've got a couple of tiles broken here. I've made some of these beams. So anyway, so let's get moving. So I need first thing I need is some sort of plaster slash brick sort of cylinder block sort of texture. Just something that makes sense, so just quickly trying to find a texture to fit in this gap. So let's have a look. Let's use that one for now. This is when I texture, I do tend to go through a few of them before I actually decide for definite that that is going to be the last one to use. So, like so, what I'm going to do is this beam here, I'm just going to make another one there, but not all the way across because the player won't fit through that gap. So the key to this, what I'm doing now, is making it so it looks nice, but it's also functionable as well. So I'm just gonna, in a minute, I'm gonna not talk as much. I'm just gonna try and just build and do like, and then when I stop talking, I'm just gonna build. So sorry if I'm not making much sense at the moment. It will make more sense the more I build. So anyway, so all I'm doing at the moment is I'm just trying to just fill up this space a little bit. When doing anything like this, you can, it really does depend on how much detail you want to go. Because it's an indoor bit, you can go a bit more mad on it without suffering with performance losses or anything. So it just depends on how you want it to look, really. So what I'll do, not that. So all I'm doing at the moment is I'm just trying to fill up this area, and a lot of the time you tend to, as you're going along, you'll change things, mix it up a little bit. But the purpose of this video is just showing you more about how I go about doing areas like this in maps. And obviously when you're doing it yourself, you would probably spend a bit more time than why I'm here. So like that. Like so. Close that, sorry about that. Like so. Right. And then we get these. What I'll do is pull that slightly forward to the, no, actually I'll leave that. Like so. So just basically putting these tiles on here at the moment. The other thing I need to do is actually put the cutout into this piece. So similar to my other tutorials, what the best way I find to do it is just cut and paste it. I know sometimes I do clip it, but it's more of a personal preference. In this case, it's easy just to stretch it rather than start messing about carving it up. Like so. Just put a bit of a slant on that, just to simulate the fact that it's got just a bit of a bend on it, and then because this is so small, you don't have to be terribly accurate with it. As long as it looks decent enough, like so. Just want that hammer's auto saving then. Just pull that up to there like that. Put that there. Just push that back a little bit. And just the same again on this. Pull it out. I'm gonna just pull it that way as well. It should be okay, that shape. You just got to be careful what you do with that. Don't bend it too much, because you're likely to run into an invalid shape. You'll know it's invalid for a couple of reasons. One, when you go to map check for problems, it may well come up on there. Also, when you're in carding mode, this will actually read wrong, because what it'll do is it'll think all your entities are broken because you've actively hidden it. Actually, because you've actively hidden your objects, it's still trying to link to it. So yeah, you need to just be aware of that. But anyway, back onto what I was saying before, is if you've got an invalid shape, it may well come up on there. If it doesn't, the only alternative is there's a high chance it won't show up in game at all if it's completely busted. Normally I go for anything that's concave. You can't do concave shapes. Unlike you can with modelling. If you try and do a concave shape, it just won't work. So, slowly getting there with that. It looks starting to look pretty decent. And what I'll do is I'll just put a few on the floor, just so it looks like it fell down. What I'll do is later on I'll properly go around and actually function detail these pieces. So like so. Just put a few pieces. I'll probably put some more down there eventually, but I'm just trying to tackle this piece at a time. This top piece here, I'm a little bit undecided with this because it's a carpet texture. So what I'll probably do, because to get a cut out in that looking more convincingly, you'd probably end up having to make a model really unique to that area. So whereas if it's wooden beams, it is easier to get away with that, I think. So in this case and this kind of scenario, what I'll do is actually do wooden beams similar to that bottom bit there, like that. So again, always building no draw. It just saves you a lot of hassle, and it's just genuinely more neater to work like that, because you don't have to go back around and putting no draw on all your faces that you intended it to go on in the first place. So because of the way this texture's been applied on here, you see how it's lined up properly there. If that was off centre, then I'd end up having to do that, but that's just how that particular texture works. It wouldn't always in reality work that way. So left click on there, right click on there. It's not aligned properly, but sometimes you just gotta guess these here, so either 90 or 180, just to get it to line up there perfectly. And as always, do the bottom bit. Actually left click, right click, and then put it on the side as well. Same as before. I wouldn't normally do this side, but I'm just going to do it for this purpose here, so when I copy and paste it and it overlaps, I don't have to mess about with it. So like that. You can come back to that and just no draw it later on, but it's not totally essential at this point. Like so. See, like this texture doesn't line up now, so I've got to pull that out. Probably in most cases just get it as close to you kind of to the edge. You just got to decide. See there, it works better there on this particular texture. And if you're unsure where this line is, what I tend to do, because I can't tell if it's that line, or that line. All I'll do is I'll just click on that piece there. You just remember where it is, so I know it lines up to there. The other thing you can do is just visually try and work it out through the viewport itself. There's that. Like so. And then you just pull these out until it looks nice. So just going to do the rest. Like so. Pull that out. A lot of this is easy, it's just being patient with it until you get it looking the way you want. What I'll do is I'll keep these all the same length and then modify it at the end. Just the same process with every single beam. The other thing is, when it overlaps, it's a little bit more noticeable from there. Just pull that one there. Oop. Got a bit click happy there. Right, so I'm nearly done now with this side anyway. I am just going to copy and paste it on the other side. In fact, I can do that actually right now, rather than pulling the beams out. While they're all relatively flat, I can actually do that there. Just copy and paste, rotate. Probably just needs some slight adjustments to get this lined up. See how this here now, this is just, yeah, I can just slightly tell that this is, oh, it looked like it was, but maybe it isn't actually. I thought this was just slightly out on the alignment. If you're ever unsure, just snap to grid like that. Although I'm pretty sure when the compiler compiles it anyway, it will automatically thingy. I'm pretty sure it knows like micro sizes like that anyway, so it's not a huge deal. It just depends on how neat you want to be with the mapping. So anyway, all I'm doing now is just pull these over so the beams line up, and this is, I'm just literally using my eyes for this one. See that one, it's a bit 50-50, that one. That one's an easier one to line up. And the same with that one as well. You don't have to be terribly perfect with it, as long as these aren't overlapping. That's the key thing really. I'll just apply that onto there so they're all correct. I'm just going to save as well. I try and save every sort of few minutes so you know where you're up to, and just in case it crashes as well. The hammer can crash whenever, so it's just a case of the plan is I'm going to try and pull these out into roughly some sort of convincing curve sort of shape. Doesn't have to be perfect, but just so it looks nice. I'm not really looking at the 3D port there, by the way. I'm actually just doing this solely by eye in this 2D port, and then you just have a quick look in the 2D. You just have a quick look in the camera until you feel like it looks okay. So that'll do for now. Actually, what I'll do, that needs pulling up quite a lot actually. So there's that side, and I'm gonna pull some of these middle ones out quite far as well. Just the key is where the gap where the play's actually falling down. I'm gonna just actually try and block that side up a little bit more. In fact, what I'll don't quite. This side is just slightly not lined up, so I don't think so. Let me just have a little look at this. So this needs pulling out one, and that like that. So that's a beam. That beam basically didn't break. I'm just gonna try and make some now look like they're slanting away from it. So before, there is an easier way of holding this rotator. So as long as you've got these settings the same here, I can manually rotate it and then just join it back up with a vertex, like so. Just anywhere to the nearest dot, and it just keeps that line. Then that's another way of doing that. It's just a little bit of a time saver. See if we can get this texture to line up. On the other video as well, I was explaining about the manual lineup. This is up to you if you want to do this. I probably wouldn't bother trying to figure out where this lines up. It is roughly here now. You can start this bit here. You can see where it's the same in these. You just look for a point of the texture where you can work out where it lines up, and then see like this circle here, it's starting to line up here now. So, and then when you get closer, you find a closer point to line up. So, and as you get closer, you can see that like how similar it is along the edge. So let me just try and it's there. There's the point there. That texture lines up perfectly. It is worth doing that if you can be bothered doing that, but I totally get it if you can't be bothered, because it's a lot of extra work, that is. So just gonna pull that out, copy and paste. Actually, just copy it for now, and like so. That's a little bit rough actually, but this is why I go back into it and vertex it. So like so. Just the key here is just keep the thickness of the wood, like so. In this case, it's probably more there. You'll see if you get it wrong, because what happens is these sides here will just fall out of line. I know wood doesn't genuinely break like that, but in source, that's probably the best you're gonna get without it being a custom model. And then you can go in and no draw that there. It's up to you really. So for now, I'm just gonna keep that like that. What I'll do as well is I'll just make a piece on the top there. Just pull it out a little bit so it acts like a plank of wood. Copy it. I find if you cut it and paste it onto the object that you want to put it on, that tends to be the easiest way to automatically move it. Because I've pasted it onto that piece there, I'll show you in the camera, it's perfectly aligned there. That was because I pressed Control X, Control V there to cut and paste it onto that object. It was a hell of a lot quicker than me manually moving it by hand onto that exact point. That's a pretty good time saver, that, to be fair. So I'm just gonna make sure that's texturing on all the angles. In this case, that needs to be texturing on all the angles you can actually see anyway. So I'm just gonna put that there for now. You can put more pieces on as well. Right, I could put one there. Really, you're supposed to edit the length of that while it's in a straight line, because that would be, I could edit it like that, but you do run into the risk of the texture not being in line. The other thing I'll do as well is just to make it looking less like that piece, because the texture's in the same position. What I do normally is I'll just move it along the texture so it just so it looks a bit different. Because you don't want to cut and paste loads of pieces and they all look exactly the same. So there's there like that. A lot of the time when I'm mapping, I do spend a lot of time just looking at my scene, trying to figure out what I want it to look like. So in this case, this is what this is meant to look like. I probably put what I'll do finally to end this first part of this section anyway is I'm gonna put like a metal beam running through here with a decal. So it's just to simulate basically it'll be like a support beam. Most modern buildings will have these. It's just solely there to look like it's holding up the floor. So if you have a model of this, then I suggest use it, but if you don't, just make your own. They're simple enough to do. What all I'm doing now is just getting the rough sort of shape for a beam. I'm just at the moment, all I'm trying to do is just get the correct sort of size and feel for it. Once you get the rough size, find a suitable texture. So just searching metal. There is plenty of metal beam textures. So you got these ones here, that one there. I'm going to use that one there for the top. I think this texture you have to go as low as 15. Another good tip, if you're not entirely sure, if you click the fit button there, it'll fit it that way, but it'll fit it that way as well, but it'll give you that the number there for that way. Then you just got to work out which side it is. So in this case, it's 18 along there, 18.75. I'll just round that back off to 18, and I'll put the other one back to 18, so it keeps the same, so it doesn't stretch it one way or another. Because there's a little bit of a seam there, I'll push that over to under the beam there. You'll see it on that side anyway, but it doesn't particularly matter. Like that. And then, as usual, copy and paste. Just line it up in that view. See what I did there is, like before, I just checked where the end point is on that, and the wall as well. Move that along, and then just double check the other side, just make sure it's in the right place. Go back to no draw on there. Make that piece there like that, and then just got to find the texture just fitting that gap now. So I'm just trying to find a quick texture just to fit in that gap. So I'm going to try this one, just see what this looks like. You want to try and keep the colour scheme similar. You don't want to draw away from it too much. That's not too bad, to be fair. You got to think when the lighting's in the map as well, it might look slightly different. The only thing, if you're not entirely sure, just go back and just have a quick browse through until you find one that might look better. So sometimes I just have basically I just trial a few just to, so like that one's similar as well. I think going back to the other one's probably the best. That one will do for now. And then decal. So I just need like some sort of like rust dropping down the wall or something like that, or maybe a crack or something similar to that. Just a case of finding something. So I'm going to use that one there. I'm going to use an overlay on this because sometimes when you use decals it'll try and put it onto the nearest surface. So that's how you put a decal on. Overlay is that one. I normally just press Shift and O. Like O, yeah. Shift O. And you just click on the wall there like that. And you just align it. What I'm going to do is just put the camera in the middle there to get this to where you want it to look. Yeah, I could pull that down a little bit more. But I'm trying to make the most of that decal. Like that. And it's the same on the other side. What I'm going to do is actually line this, the centre of that overlay there to the exact point on the other side. That sometimes might not work because it depends on how central that texture is. It just needs slightly pulling, but the height is important there. Well, not important, but in this case, to get it looking nice on either side, like so. And what I'll do as well is, if I can find some sort of texture like that, I could put this on. You've got to be a little bit careful with these. So if I put that on there, what you can do with one of these is, you just got to be careful. Don't apply it to too many surfaces. But if you go on the brush faces here, go pick, hold Control. Actually, what I'll do, so you know what you're clicking, go into the texture tool here. Just make sure that hide mask is off, and go back in there. And you can click these surfaces like this. At the moment, I'm just going to click them all of them there like that, and then what that does, it'll apply that overlay to all of them faces. So you can click apply like that, and that is on all of them. It's on all of them tiles, so not the tiles, sorry, it's on all of those planks of wood, so you can stretch that, not like that. Like I say, you just be a little bit careful when adding it to so many faces. In this case, it should be okay. I don't have a lot of other overlays on the actual map, but that's how you do that. If this is flickering like this, you can put it into textured mode like that. Shaded, it doesn't look great, but if you put it into just textured like that, you can see what the texture's doing. So in this case, what I'm going to do is go back on there and just hold Control to deselect some of these faces, because it doesn't really need to be on them ones. As long as it's around this area here, it doesn't need to be on the. Actually, we'll put it on them like that, and on there as well. And then what we can do then is I'll just move that up a little bit just to make the most of that being on there. So it just looks like a bit more damage on there. I think the other thing I'll do is make a hole on the roof so it looks like something's actually falling through here, so it's not just a random sort of hole going into the floor. So just Control Z. Let's have a quick look, see what it's looking like. To function detail this, the way I find this easiest is just go on to your auto here. Function detail is always at the bottom where it should be. Just untick it and you can see what's function detailed and what's not. You just hold Control. I'm just going to do these in sections, so like all these wood pieces on the top bit there is a separate one, so function detail that. Same with that beam, that's a separate one. Function detail that. Like so. And then if you untick that, you can see what you've done and what you've not done. So I missed a piece there, so what I need to do is just, that's because actually that's running through that beam, isn't it? No, it's really close to it, but it's actually fine there. So you add that there, it'll say, because it's already a part of function detail, you just basically click yes, and that adds that piece onto that entity. So untick that, and in this case I'm just going to function detail the whole lot here, and it's just a case of just having a quick move around on your camera, just make sure you've got all the pieces like so. The other thing is, I could function detail that into one combined piece. What the only downside to that is, when you're further away, it takes longer for the engine to not draw it because it's a bigger piece. So you're better doing it in like reasonably sized chunks, but at the same time don't do like every separate piece as a function detail, because you'll just, your entity, I can't remember which bit of it, but one of your limits will just start going through the roof, probably your entity limit. So I think for now that section is probably good done. So all I'm gonna do is just move that trigger point just temporarily back to there, so I know where it is. Nope, hold on. Just 1 minute. Right, so as you can imagine, player comes through there. He's got to basically drop down onto either there. I'll probably slightly adjust this later on, like put another beam there. Well, actually it won't be there, sorry. Just put another, like a side, one of these side ones here. In fact, I'll do that now, just at the end of this video, and then that'll be it then. To get rid of that, I'll just turn off the brush entities for now. Put carding back on so I can see what I'm doing. And I'll put ignore groups on as well. I'll just put that on there. This is just solely as a reference, so I can see where the line would actually be. So I'm just going to do that. Get that texture so it starts showing that line. Like so. That's how I get that line. Go in this view here. I'm just doing this because it's just quicker to do it that way, like I showed you before. You can either do it, vertex it first, like so. See how it's not lined up there? You can definitely see that's not lined up. See how it's off center? So you can either right click, snap to grid, or just try and like force it into that position. That's fine there, like that. And then the other thing is, just paste that onto there. I'll just align that back to there, like so. Now, I've just spotted something in this view. Is this piece here? This is actually the slant, so not that one, that one. Just to be a little bit neater, because I did actually manually move them. I'm just gonna line these up to the nearest lines, that piece and this piece as well. Like so. Just manually do that. I'm just gonna keep that gap there, because if I pull it too much, it's gonna thin it out too much. So I'll just do that. Just finish this little bit off here now. Actually, there's another piece there that's slightly out. What's that one? Like I say, it's not that bad if it does do that, but you really have got to keep an eye out. There's another problem there as well. Actually, I can't actually see what's going wrong there. Just 1 minute. There's an extra dot there I can see. Let me just have a look at this. Can't zoom in any further than that. I don't know what's going on there actually. Where? Let me just try and figure this one out. Well, what might have happened actually is let me just go on this viewport. This is something to do with this piece here. Just not letting me select that. Let me just double checking these points, make sure they're all on the same. There's all on the same point. Like I say, it's not mega important that, but it's just me trying to keep it neat. Because when you compile that, it would just line it up to the nearest point anyway. Right, so I think that's okay now. I've not spotted anything else too out of the way yet. It just shows you how easy it is to actually do that. And they're very hard to spot as well sometimes. Points being out of line. I'll just line that, just so it's not the same. There's hardly any noticeable difference in that texture there to there, but it's still different. And the same on there as well, actually. I'll just do a tiny little bit on the end there, just to show the bend in that, and then I'll stop the video there then. Like so. Right, that'll do that. That's not too bad. I'll just put that piece there. I'll just guess this gap. I could put a tile there, but I'm just going to guess it. You just use your eye coordination here. Because it doesn't matter anyway, because the actual gap isn't correct anyway, because when I put the texture on there, it was half a tile out. It's not really that noticeable, to be fair. Like that. And then all I do as a final check, just quick check just to make sure any of this isn't function details, or just turn the viz group off. There's a few pieces, these are the new pieces I've made, so I know it's them three. I'm just going to tie it, take the IG off, just going to tie it to the rest of that there. In fact, what I'll do is tie that section together. Like so, right, and just come out, full screen it, just so you can see everything. See, there's a couple of extra pieces there that I've missed, and I think that's it actually. Let me just check. Right, just tie that to there. Yes. Just click off the screen somewhere. Just turn that on and off to show the rest of it, and then that's it. It's just a quick check, just make sure all the textures look okay. They look okay to me. There's nothing like majorly wrong. The only other thing I'll do is just quickly draw these like so. You don't have to do this, but I'm just doing it anyway for the sake of it. And that's it. That's the first hole there. For now, that's how I'm going to leave it. I'll probably put some models in as well, just to smarten it up. In the next video, what I'll do is I'll build this hole, and then take that cordon off then. Like so. So when the player comes, this will be all finished. And then just one quick thing as well, on the actual map, this grate here is spawns depending on if it wants the player to go this way or down there. That was the simple solution to get around that. I'll just quickly show you the map. This is how it's looking. This is one of my new models I made the other day. It's the top piece for the train track with the handrail going down, like so. I've not actually put any clippings or hints into the map, but that's how it's looking. It's coming along really nicely. Still still quite a bit of work to do, but yeah, it's good. And this was just quickly, just for one of my mates. This is the skybox. This is how it works. So it's a wraparound. This is the exact same colour as the fog settings. So this colour here is the same as this, and the fog inside the actual map as well. The fog colour. And what this does is, if I didn't have this, at the end of the map you would just see the actual sky texture, but that actually simulates like a fake fog on the end of the map. So when you're actually playing in the map, what it does is you'll have fog in this playable area, and then you've got fog in that 3D skybox, and then you've got to think that wraparound then goes all the way around the edge of this map, and that's how you get that perfect blend in the map. So that when you stood here, you see the fog. If I didn't have that circle there, you would see the sky showing there at the end of the fog, whereas because I have got that, you see just a solid colour which blends into the map because all the colours are the same, and that's how that works. So anyway, the next video I'm gonna finish that gap and hopefully do some more stuff. So I know this has been quite long, but hopefully you've learned something from it. And if you have any requests or questions or anything like that, then feel free to ask, because I'm always here to help. So thanks again, guys. I'll see you later.